Hello everybody and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and more Urban Empire in Pravsburg. Let's go ahead and switch the map up a little bit. I know this is very disconcerting. When you've been playing a city builder game in the same view for a long time, switching it up just makes it feel completely foreign to you. So let's go ahead and do that. That's going to be kind of fun, right? I think so. Alright, well, successful business in Farnham. A restaurant is doing great. Should I give them an honorary award or recommend the restaurant to your friends? Let's give them an honorary award for being such an incredible restaurant. Perhaps they serve Thai food, my favorite cuisine. The effect is personal growth for those who work in the building, goes up by 5. And the sales demand for that particular restaurant goes down by 10%, which makes it very easy to stay profitable for a long, long time. New district we did propose in the last video, so let's go ahead and do a quick vote. I have almost 27 million thalers in the bank, still making a crap ton of money. Yeah, that's pretty fun. The Free Democratic Party is worried that students are burdened with high taxes. Should the council lower student taxes? Yes, in fact, and remarkably. We're already making tons of money. Let's make the students very happy. This, of course, makes the Free Democratic Party very popular. We get a bit of goodwill with them. The citizens are far more likely to vote for them. And my hope is that by basically making it cheaper to be a student, maybe eventually we will be able to increase our brain power. Dougal's education. Ooh, my son! My son is already of age, and you've decided to provide him with a higher education. First of his lineage, this decision already causes a scandal, but you've made up your mind. Which field do you think he should be educated in? Doesn't matter, as long as he works hard. Or we can make him an engineer, like me, or a political scientist. Let's make him an engineer, just for kicks and giggles. I'm not too sure what this will do. Let's see, your son listens to your advice carefully and then obliges your wish that he study engineering. On his first day, he is beaten by schoolmates of higher origin, but this does not stop him. It does make him bitter and suspicious of privilege, although he realizes how obediently he also just followed in his father's footsteps. So this is foreshadowing for the next character. I know this says it goes all to Connor kill Ganon. It's not necessarily entirely true. My next character, the traits of that character will be based in part on the choices that I make now, so pay attention to that. Looks like we're going toward progressivism, cynical, deceitful, and Luddite? Really? Luddite? Not sure how that works against the, oh, that's pessimist. I thought it was progressive. Pessimist, cynical, deceitful, and Luddite. Yeah, that character is basically the exact opposite of me in every possible way. Free Democratic Party once again wins the elections. The physiocrats are basically totally out of date. Rights of Man is done. We have access to the workshop, which is a new city service. Gambling, curfews, minimum wages basically for the workshop. Vocational school is what we really care the most about. Let's go ahead and research safety authorities so I have access to the clinic. That's going to be important for us eventually. I keep wanting to shift back to the original city view I've been using for the rest of the series, and it's starting to drive me nuts. Modify taxes, begin the vote. Let's make it a little bit cheaper to be a student. We should consider opening up a vocational school in the near future. Tax rate for students goes down by 4%. Yeah, that should be fine. A little bit less money for me, but it's not a substantial amount, and we still have a growing district, so I'm probably okay with that. Correspondence with father. Your father is about to come for a visit. Hey, the one who sent us here from Dublin. You want to make your father as proud as possible, so you order special arrangements for the planned visit. You arrange the beautification of the city, a festival to celebrate the visit, or a ball with all of the important people. I'm gonna say we make the city beautiful. And as a result, the entire city gets bonus 2 to physical environment. No, death of a father! But he didn't get to see my beautiful city! When you reach the port to greet your father, you are faced with tragic news. Your father suffered a fatal stroke the day before, and he didn't make it. Display sadness publicly, retreat to grieve in solitude, or hide your sadness and become deceitful. Look, I am a man's man. I am the people's man, and I have emotions like everyone else, and my father is dead. I shall display my sadness publicly. And as a result, I am considered more soft. When it is time for the funeral, you openly express your sadness. Look, anyone who looks down upon me for being sad about the death of my father is a total jerk, and I have no respect for them. Alright, how are we looking as far as the city and traffic? Pretty decent. Unemployment is pretty high in a few places, actually. We may want to consider opening up a workshop. Possibly. I actually never used one in my previous game. Let's go to Smithmere. Modify district, place service, workshop. This reduces security, but it gives work to the unemployed, which they need in order to be, you know, productive members of society and to provide for their families. Let's try it. I've never placed one before. Let's build up a workshop. We'll place it right here. There we go. Okay, anything else that I really want? We could build a park to try and beautify the city a little bit. Vocational school would cost me $24,000 a month. I'm actually kind of impressed by the cost of the workshop. $30,000? Ouch. It's a lot, but we're not going to build a vocational school quite yet. Maybe once we start building out some more residential districts in this area, we will place one. But for now, well, let's just go with what we have. We'll do a quicken vote here as well. Never used one, but I would imagine giving employment is kind of important. Safety authorities. The administration is preparing for the establishment of professional safety authorities. Do you want to focus on the police, the fire, or the clinics? I'm pretty sure that police and fire both have to do with security, so we're going to go for clinics, because health is where we are suffering the most. And that just boosts the effectiveness of clinics and makes them cheaper to operate, which is good. So I am okay with that. Modify district, begin. Hitting space does not speed up the vote. Hitting escape does not speed up the vote. We should actually take a look at this. Settings. Key mapping. Open city view. Progress cloud, quick save. I do not see an option to speed up the vote. That is something I would like added into the game. If you already know how it's going to go, don't waste 30 seconds of my time. I mean, I know it's only 30 seconds, but come on. Railroad extension. The Emperor is calling for an extension to the railway connecting to Trieste. Trieste has bigger harbor than us, has a bigger harbor, I'm sure is what you meant, and this could be a serious threat to our city. Offer the Emperor our help, don't be too eager to help, try to avoid helping. I'm not eager to help, but it's gonna happen anyway. You decide to help enough to prevent any faux pas, but not one bit more. Costs $10,000 thalers out of my own personal income. I had to pay for it myself? Since when? That sounds like a city problem. Hope for a faded economy. Good. Means that the global recession should be coming to an end relatively soon. Safety doesn't happen by accident. Yes, indeed. Alright, well, we have more edicts available to us. Do we want to go for the Bessemer process? Probably, because that'll increase sales, make for a better economy. We're not in Era 2 yet. We could actually start researching Era 2 technology now. That is allowed. But I do think we want to finish out all of Era 1. We got at least a little bit more time, I think, before we move on to the next game, or the next era, so let's go ahead and get what we can. Child labor. Even though you're now mayor, you still identify with the lower social classes that need to work their hearts out to earn a living. This causes you ever-increasing worries, particularly now that you've become a family man yourself. Your son Dougal is already 5. I thought he was old enough that he was out going to school and becoming an engineer. That doesn't make sense, and there's no need for you to put him to work to earn a living. That's not the case for most, and when you see children who are barely teenagers suffering from deadly phossy jaw, you can't help but feel sad and privileged that your own children need not suffer such a fate. Support them, try limiting child labor. That would be interesting. Talk to factory owners about improving the situation. I've tried doing this before, and basically what the factory owners will listen to you earnestly, and then they'll say, but you understand that will increase all of our labor costs if we can't hire cheap children. So they do nothing, and you end up losing prestige. We might try to limit it. What will happen? This increases brain power in the grammar school, and brain power in the vocational school. I like that. And also adults have better demand for social life and bonus production. I think we should go for trying to limit child labor. Makes sense. It's a liberal left-wing policy. I'm not sure that everyone's going to be on board with it, but we'll try. Limit child labor. Nope, most people totally approve. I think we will be fine. Okay, and as a result, we get to hasten... Wait, hang on, what's this? You take the whole matter up to the Emperor. While sympathetic to your cause, His Imperial Highness only agrees to let the matter go to the Imperial Parliament for a decision, as there are financial consequences if children are no longer allowed to do the work they are naturally more talented at than children. What, you mean the things like chimney sweeping, because they're so small they can get into the chimneys and die? Alright, well, we are hastening the progress of a certain decision. Ban heavy work for children under 10-year-old. Alright, new laws may ban children from underwork. Okay, so the Emperor's allowing us to actually call a vote on it. Will it work? I'm not too sure yet. Oh, it's definitely going to work. Alright, excellent. I was a little bit worried that the Free Democratic Party is so popular that they might actually refuse me. But no, they are totally okay with it. This increases our brain power, which is great. It's here. Young children no longer to do unwieldy work. In decision the Surgeon General has described as a victory for common sense, a law was passed today banning children under 10 years of age from working in so-called heavy work environments, including warehouses, chimneys, and construction sites. All right, cool. Business owners have expressed dismay. Life's tough. We need the money. A chimney sweep and the father of 7 young boys. Yeah. Well, hopefully, within a couple of generations or so, they will be more educated and able to do better jobs. Liberal revolution in Austria crushed. Sorelian loyalty praised. Oh, that's interesting. Order will be soon restored as the Emperor returns. Not too sure what's going on there. I will say that my historical understanding of the Empire, the Austrian Empire, is lacking a little bit. Wasn't considered super important back in the day. Stowaways. The steamer Maria Theresa arrived in Pravsburg, and to the crew's great surprise, they found 5 stowaways in the hold. They were hungry and sick, and none had money for their passage. The captain asks you what should be done with them. Send them to prison. If they can pay for the journey, they can go free, or let them go without punishment. I mean, if they can pay for the journey, they can go free, certainly. But it says they don't have money. We'll do this anyway. If they can pay for the journey, they can go free. I guess that's fair, says the captain, and thanks you for the wise advice. Prestige for me goes up by 15. That's not too bad. Not too sure what I'm going to do with it, but it's not too bad. It's alright. It's alright. Bessemer process. The sooner we get this done, the better, so I can improve my industrial demand. I would like to continue building out more industrial districts. And I can do that, even though we don't have a lot of demand right now. We've already filled out what we have. I mean, we could just go ahead and build out a new district, and that wouldn't be a bad thing. Honorary membership. The people in the National Sorelian Party think you are a great politician, and they'd like to grant you an honorary party membership. Doing this will undoubtedly affect the other 2 parties and make them very upset. So as honored as I am that you would consider me, I cannot accept, and as a result, nothing changed. No goodwill with anybody. The other parties are relieved. Well, I was kind of expecting a bit more than that. Maybe I should have joined. Oh look, industrial demand has gone back up. That means it's time to create a new district. So let's go ahead and build one out, I don't know, let's say right here. Can I build a big one like this? Totally can. We want a sparse grid. I'm going to place it kind of like so. We can probably fit in 2 more awkwardly shaped districts in here. Yeah, let's go ahead and confirm that. Purely an industrial area, as before. Confirm zoning. Done. And I don't think we need any other services. Propose, quicken vote, done. How are we looking as far as traffic? Doing okay, actually, surprisingly. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. We're making so much freaking money, it's just ridiculous to me. Like, this is nuts, right? Era 1, and we're filthy stinking rich. Begin the vote. We've never had any problems from the council. We're never running deficits. We're never going into bankruptcy. Too easy, man. Too easy. I would actually argue that one of the downsides of Urban Empire in its current state is that it actually is a little bit too easy. I do think that the difficulty of this game actually needs to be improved a little bit. Bessemer process. A new metal processing method is making it easier and cheaper to produce high-quality metal. Do you let companies use the new technology freely, open source basically, or do we initiate security inspections to ensure only quality furnaces are made? I shall allow the companies to use the technology freely. And as a result, this reduces the sales demand of the metal industry, paper, textiles, chemicals, and glass by 5%. Now, this does hurt the physical environment a little bit. We'll need to build up some new parks, but in the meantime, at the very least, that's going to make industry very, very profitable. By the way, can someone explain to me why the sales demand was green in that case, but it's red in all the others? That doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Am I crazy there? That doesn't make sense? Hey, look, we've already finished off Smithmere. That's fun. Ailstow, alright. Well, taking criticism. Another famous writer. We shall ask him what to do. He thinks it's a reasonable request. Personal growth of the entire city goes up. I love that. It's pretty good. 16 brain power right now. We can actually build out a new district in this area. Or do I want to save this for an industrial area and instead build this area out? We're actually going to run out of room for industry, so I actually do think that I will save this area for an industrial sector. And let's start building the rest of this area out as a residential and commercial zone. I think that's reasonable, don't you? Let's go ahead and build out like so. Dense grid. How big do we want to make this thing? I don't know. We can make it a pretty big district. I mean, this is pretty big. Pretty swole. Let's see. It's not quite straight, though. Kind of hard to tell with the perspective the way it is. This seems pretty close. Yeah, let's build out a massive district. Sounds good. Confirm. Industrial, we'll make this a bit more commercial than it has been in the past. We'll say about a 40-60 split. Maybe a little bit more, actually. Let's do a 45% split. A very mixed area. It's not too bad. I do need to save some room, though, because as we go into later eras, I am going to want to be able to build out medium density areas, zones, and I'm going to need to have more commercial. I'm actually not sure if you're able to build a medium density commercial building in a mixed area. I would assume you can, but I'm not positive on that. You might need to have actual commercial-only zones, so we may actually be reaching the point where I don't want to build that many more districts in Era 1, but we'll see. Let's confirm this. Do I need any more? You know what, let's go ahead and build out the vocational school. I did say I wanted this a while back, but we'll go ahead and place it now. Maybe not, actually. Maybe I should, well, I'm trying to think where we're going to get the best radius, and it's basically right here. So actually, maybe we should hold off until we build another district up here, and that's where we'll place a vocational school. Yeah, I'm alright with that. Let's place a small park, though, at the very least. Place one here. We probably should place a police station. Haven't had any of those yet. Place that there. Clinic, plus 7 health. I'm not going to put it in the new district because it's going to be a while before we get the bonus, but we actually probably should modify a district and put in a clinic now at some point. Let's confirm our services, propose, quicken vote, done. There we go. Free Democratic Party once again wins the elections. Does not surprise me at all. New district, let's vote. Looking pretty solid if you ask me. Pretty good, thank you. Now, I will say, I have found in the past that the physical environment is actually very difficult to keep up once you get to Era 2, because you're only able to build small parks for a while. It's going to be a long time before I can access medium parks. One thing you could do, if you're finding that you're having some trouble with that, what you can actually do is go to the City Council, go to Services Funding, and click on the small park, and what you can do is actually vote to increase its funding, and this increases the radius and effectiveness of that park. So, for example, if we bumped it up to 3, 1, we are costing ourselves more money. We make it more expensive to maintain a small park. Change in the number of working class workplaces. More people work in the park, but not by a lot. Middle class. Physical environment goes up by 7. The radius for this thing will increase. Yeah, bonus to the non-optimal range of the service plus 15%, and we're increasing the cost of it by 5%. And I'm actually going to go ahead and propose this now, because I almost always end up needing this, so let's go ahead and do it. Might as well, while we're still making a crap ton of money. I can't spend my money fast enough at this point. I mean, I would gladly spend it on more things, but I can't. I can't do it fast enough. Let's go ahead and propose a change to Hackthorn. Modify, and let's place our first ever clinic. Now, of course, this means I'm going to bulldoze a few houses, so... Actually, maybe I want to place it over here? Yeah, over here is pretty good. We'll place it right here and only bulldoze 2 houses. Better than it could be otherwise. Confirm services. Propose. Quicken vote. Done. And this should do a lot to improve my average city health. Alright, can we please fund our parks a little bit better? Improve the natural environment. Yes? Yes. Good. Okay, at the end of the month, we'll see what it does. It actually only went up by about 1, because we only have 2 parks. And they do not have a very wide radius. It has increased a lot, though, definitely. Could probably afford to build another one up here in Hackthorn, actually. Or maybe Waltondale. I don't know. Place one over here somewhere. It's not too bad. Modify district. Begin the vote. Let's open up the first ever clinic. There will be an institution called the hospital later, which will greatly increase the health of your city. Otherwise, not a huge deal. You know, we can actually unlock density changes. We actually could considerably doing that now. We could. Let's go for photography. We'll research the last technology of Era 1. And then we can move on into Era 2, which will be fun. Now, just because you move on to Era 2 technology does not mean that you just, you know, move on to Era 2. It's not like, you know, Civ 5 or something like that. It will happen at a certain date regardless, but, you know, it'll be nice to get ahead of time on tech. Dougal in trouble. Your son has managed to attract unwanted attention from students of the elite families. He has been complaining about mistreatment for a while, but this time the bullies have gone one step too far. One holiday, Dougal comes home with his face covered in scars. Complain about it to the rector, demand to know who did this, or forbid Dougal from further association with the bullies. What's the best way to approach this? Appeal to authority. I don't think I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna make him isolated from the rest of the classmates. Demand to know who did this might be considered as being kind of attacking on him. Let's complain about it to the rector. Your son explains that this is not a result of bullying, but a sign that he has finally earned the respect of his fellow students. Menser fighting is an act of honor among university students. What? Alright, well my son's becoming a socialite. I do not approve of this. This is basically Fight Club. Okay, though, you know what? My son can go and lead his own life. I'm sure he will be fine. Making almost 300,000 a month right now. Okay, this is getting kind of ridiculous. Let's go to Hackthorn. Let's modify. Let's place a new small park. We'll place it right over Mya. How about here? This is better. I like this better. Confirm. You know what? We're going to use our personal funds for the first time and build out a park. No need for a vote. Era will change in 12 months, 1860, and we're about to go into Era 2. Alright, so we're actually not really ahead of time when it comes to tech. We're not doing terribly, but we're not exceeding. Let's go to the city council. Let's see if there are any edicts that I can use that will improve our brain power a little bit. City curfew, no. Workshop wages. More money for the lowest class to spend. Change the number of working class workplaces. All municipal services, 0.1. Workshops just basically become more expensive. City curfew, loitering ban, regulate gambling, ban gambling, safety authorities. The medical sector is wide-ranging and specialized, covering everything from hospitals to general practitioners. So basically a little bit of state government or state regulation of clinics. We could do this. This is just straight up a bonus to health. It doesn't really cost us much of anything. Ban prostitution, alcohol, tobacco, work safety acts. You know, there's not really much of anything that's going to improve our brain power right now. I could just build more schools, but that's about it. If you do licensing for alcohol or tobacco, what you're basically doing is you're increasing the sales demand, i.e. how much alcohol needs to be sold in order for a company to be prosperous. And we're just getting a little bit of money off of those type of businesses. Basically kind of a taxation on a very specific industry. Not a good idea in this case. I've never used these. I don't think there's any point. Ban prostitution. Improves the physical environment of the area for everybody. Because, you know, you don't have a bunch of hookers walking up and down the street. Women have a better social life, but men don't have as much fun. We probably will ban it at some point, but for now, we could make certain industries require more sales, but improve safety. Now, let's go for the safety authorities. I don't think there's any real downside to this right now, and improving our clinics could be a good thing. Could certainly be alright. Do you want to expand the city even more? Let's go ahead and plan out a new district before we get to Era 2. Kind of like this. I will say that this is a little bit unwieldy, but let's see. Okay. Big block. Big district. Kind of like so. A little wider? No. Okay, there we go, there we go. That's about what I want to see. Yeah, alright, that's not a bad idea for a district. We'll go to a dense grid as usual. No industry. You can see here, by the way, that we now can set the medium density, but that greatly increases the cost of building and maintaining the district. You don't want to do that on new districts. I don't see any good reason to. So no industry. We're actually going to make this primarily a residential area, I think. We'll put some commercial zoning in here, just a little bit. Confirm. Done. And we already have a vocational school here, so that should affect this area. Can we do something that improves the social life? Could build a new church. Do I care about that? Or did I build a police station? I never did build a vocational school. Never mind. Let's go ahead and place one right about here. Yeah, right about here, I think. That'll do. Okay. Proposed district, quicken vote, done. Trying to improve my brain power. I'm not going to be able to finish photography before the end of the year, but it was worth a shot. Carnival. Residents of Smithmere wish to arrange a carnival to celebrate spring. Will you allow it? Sure. Great idea. In fact, let's have the best carnival in Sorelia and spend 2,000 city dollars. When I'm a millionaire, doesn't even matter. It's a pittance. Everyone has more fun, and security for the entire district goes down. Honestly, not that much of a problem. Dull newspapers. The editor of a local newspaper comes to you. The newspaper mainly publishes local news, advertisements, and rather dull accounts of council meetings, and his readers are demanding more entertaining content such as serials and gossip. The editor is afraid to publish this content without your permission. Do I allow it? He can publish whatever he wishes, because this is a free society. But please don't spread fake news. And this does increase the fun of all citizens in Sorelia. I'm not too sure why, by the way, sometimes when you hover over that little icon, I know from looking at it that it's all citizens, but sometimes you hover over it and it specifically tells you what it does, and sometimes it doesn't. I'm not sure why. Seems a little bit odd. Alright, that's the end of Era 1, which is a perfect opportunity to end this video. We have 238 prestige, 56 million failures, and a pretty substantial personal coffers, 16 brain power, which is not a lot, but it's not terrible. Now we are playing as Dougal Kilgannon. Thanks to his father having been mayor of the city, Dougal becomes the first of the family to receive a university degree. His father and grandfather's examples have been given him a strong sense of justice and self-worth. Bullied from an early age by more privileged families, Dougal becomes accustomed to conflict with the ruling classes. He believes that the old order will not bring about any reform and wants to spearhead a change. This will have many consequences when he follows his father as mayor of the city. We are nominated by the Emperor, cannot be voted out. We are progressive, which reduces security but increases brain power in everything, which is great. We are honest, improves personal growth, and cynical. Fun goes down, social life goes down, but again, brain power is good if only we can build the high school. So that's something we're going to want to do. As far as political changes, the National Cerulean Party no longer exists and has split into two. One is the Young Cerulean Party and the Old Cerulean Party, which have slightly different perspectives. One's more traditional and one is more liberal. We'll go into a lot of that later. The service demand has changed. Everyone has higher expectations, which I think we can accommodate for. No problem whatsoever. And the Old Cerulean Party wins the elections with the Physiocrats coming in second. Wow, we made a massive swing to the left. Fascinating. Alright, well I'm going to go ahead and end this video here, but thank you all very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If so, then be sure to hit that like button, let me know in the comment section what I could be doing better, and subscribe if you have not already. As always, will see you guys next time.